Ah, there, right. Hello, right, yes. I am on Twitter. I'm one of the people that shouted. I'm at Dave Stacey. I've only got 5 minutes, so all the stuff's going to be followed up with blog posts. You'll find that at mrstacey.org.uk. I've been teaching for 8 years, and a couple of years ago I was nearly a statistic because I nearly left. For all kinds of reasons I won't go into now. It wasn't working for me. And before I did, I took myself off to one of our local primary schools, one of our feeder primary schools. And for one afternoon a fortnight, I spent one of my frees with Year 6, and it was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. And about the same time, I discovered Bianca Hughes' blog. She's an English teacher from Australia, and she's been doing a lot of stuff about PBL, the project-based learning, which fortunately I don't have to explain now, because 2 presentations before me have done, which is brilliant, so thank you. Because of all that, last year I decided that I was going to start again, reboot my teaching, forget everything I'd learned before, start again. You need to be very careful with people who stand here and tell you that they've got the solution to everything. Don't trust them. They are not to be trusted. Some of these things you may take and may work for you. They're things that kind of worked for me. This isn't 10 things that can be taken by any teacher in any classroom and will work for you. But hopefully there's something here that you will find. Number 1, join Twitter. Someone does a presentation on that. Let's move on. Number 2, read blogs. Before Twitter, back in the old days, there were these things called blogs, and there were teachers I got into blogging through a guy called Doug Belshaw, who was a history teacher at the time. And when Twitter came along, blogs kind of died a little bit. And in the last couple of years, they've come back in a really big way. As teachers have got into tweeting, they've discovered sometimes 140 characters just isn't enough. And more teachers now are setting up blogs, and they are a fantastic way of going out and finding some more information about the practice that's going on up and down the country. The blog post I'll put up tomorrow about reading blogs will have a whole list of ones that I would recommend you start with. And when you've done that, of course, you can start writing a blog. Because really there is no better way of continuing that conversation. Lots of people don't want to start it because there's that kind of narcissistic, oh look at me thing that people tend to shy away from. But actually what you'll find is that same conversation, that same camaraderie you get on Twitter will follow over there as well, and you really do learn a lot. It kind of makes the writing process really does make you stop and think about what you're doing. It's never been easier to make videos. You can kick them out, record over your PowerPoints, record over your keynotes. We're a Google Apps school, so I've got my school YouTube account, and I found that's been had a massive impact in terms of that there's lots of talk about flipping classrooms and things like that that I'm not completely convinced by. But the idea that I can take something and put it online so I don't have to say it again and again every break time when the kid comes back in and says, can you just explain that one more time? Because now it's there and they can check it when it's right for them, not when it's right for me. Number 3, collaborate. From some fantastic stuff from the presenter earlier on looking at Google Docs and Google Drive. What we've been doing pales in is nothing compared to that, but it has allowed teachers to collaborate, to plan lessons, and from there we got teachers collaborating with students, and now we're starting to see students collaborating with other students. We use Google Docs. I've also started using Wikispaces with some of my A-level classes to make their own revision guides. And just that idea about setting up a blank sheet and saying, go on then, you do it. No, you can do it, you go make it. That's an amazingly powerful thing that I really would recommend. Number 6, the brain always knew what he wanted to do. He was going to go and take over the world. But sometimes our students don't know what they're going to do. They're just doing it. Again, this thing that we've heard so many times tonight about, sharing the why. Why are we doing this? The success criteria, not just
switch seats.
Oh dear, right. Success criteria, not just know what to do, how to do it well. Number 7, stop giving grades. Brilliant to hear that you don't do it here. It really does. What's the point of spending all your hours marking? All the research says put a number to it. It stops working. So let's get rid of those. And while we're at it, keep our hands down as well. Discovered the classroom experiment, the BBC documentary from a couple of years ago on YouTube. Was a massive kick up the backside for me. 2 hours of Dylan William going, what are you doing that for? That's rubbish, don't do that. Watch that, keep their hands down, whiteboards, lollipop sticks, all kinds, do those, they're brilliant. Project-based learning is fantastic. You've heard it so many times tonight. If you know nothing about it, do yourselves a favour, spend 10-15 minutes at the weekend, Google it, go and have a look at some of the sites, I'll link some later on. And finally, as we've heard again, same quote, Samuel Beckett, embrace failure. You can't expect that this is going to go right every time. The idea that a teacher will stand there and say to students, this might not work, let's find out together, is the most powerful thing, powerful message that we can send. So get on there, do it. There's my 10 things. They'll be on my blog later tonight. Life is too short not to do something that matters. Thank you very much.